When you look at the wealth gap in this country, $170,000 median net worth for a white family versus $17,000 of that of a black family. But the worst part that really make me not sleep at night is the fact that it's projected that by 2053, the black median net worth is gonna be zero. And I'm selling them for 500 a pop. I sell anything, I'm a hustler, I know how to grind. Step on grapes, put it in water and tell you it's wine. If you analyze me, what you will find is the DNA of a crook, and what goes on in my mind is contagious, hypnotic, it sounds melodic. If rap was the block or spot, I'd be that potent.
You are now tuned in to another episode of Money, Music, Culture. It's your boy Brandon Copeland.
It's your boy Ross Mack.
And we about to dive in like usual. Money, music, culture. Let's build together. What up, man? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling amazing. I'm in Miami. Ooh. I'm at the Fountain Blue. Ooh. You digging me?
Hey, no state taxes around here, man. That's what I think about. When I think about Florida, I think of no income tax.
Oh, that's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Chicago right now, but I full blown will move down here, dog. I'm 100% getting a crib down here.
There we go. Look, we think about as athletes, when we play in states with no income tax, that check that week is a little different. We get taxed every place we play. So I know when I see, we play in Texas. Ooh, we got the Dolphins. It's gonna get a little better. But even like when we went to London, taxes hit us a little different. When I'm in New York, New Jersey. Well,
what's the London tax like?
It's more like New York. So it's about 9-10%.
So you got taxed by the UK.
The UK, bro.
They ain't nothing, man. Queen Elizabeth got to stop playing. Give my dog his money back. Queen, if you listening, give my dog his money back.
I'm like, I don't even know y'all like that.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, but no, bro. Hustler's ambition is so real, and it embodies what your mindset needs to be, right? Obviously, you talking some dope dealing type vibes, which is cool. I ain't never knocking it. But it's more so the mindset, right? And that's what the idea is. It's like no matter what it is, he gonna see a silver lining in something that's gonna even make his hustle mentality amplified more. And I think that's, I try to apply that to my life, and I'm already knowing you do the exact same thing, because it's all about, building that legacy and getting to the bag, right? Man. At the end of the day.
It's the mindset, bro. Like, a lot of people look at it and again, they think it's numbers. They think you gotta be some crazy rocket scientist, some PhD, some doctorate, some super educated to make it and master this money and these finances. When it's really not. It's the hustler's ambition.
Facts.
Close your eyes, listen, see my vision, right? Like, ultimately, it's a mindset thing, bro. A lot of times I spend time studying people's mindset. If you listen to Kevin Hart speak, if you listen to Jay-Z speak, they've always had ownership mindsets. Listen to some of their old interviews. They were visualizing where they are now years ago when no one else could see it. I always look back and listen to this interview of Kevin Hart and Jamie Foxx when Kevin Hart was on Jamie Foxx's show on Sirius XM. They clowning them. They cracking on him. I bet you one of my movie deals, K Hart. Blah, blah, blah. Like literally clowning this dude. Kevin Hart trying to come out, and Kevin Hart just fighting them all off, like trying to crack on all of them, right? Years go by. That's Kevin Hart's radio show now. Not the Foxhole anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when we think about those things, I think it's just the hustler's ambition. It's the mindset. And so right now we're wearing Black Wealth Matters shirts, right? And I want you to tell us why you started this, but then we're gonna go take it back to what gave you the mindset, because this ain't your first clothing line, right? I know that, but we want to tell the people, what naturally made young Ross say, I gotta get it. I gotta get the bag. One way or another.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, man. Like, growing up on the south side of Chicago, seeing a lot of relatives in and out of prison, for me, it's like, man, I gotta get it, and I gotta get it in a whole different route, right? Because they obviously had the mindset, I gotta get it by any means.
Yep.
But, luckily I was able to be exposed to some other stuff that helped me understand, sure, I can have that same mindset, but there's a lot of different legal avenues, right? And a lot of different roads I can travel. And so I started Black Wealth Matters purely, right after the George Floyd thing, right? And what really transpired in my mind was that we having the exact same fight that our ancestors had, right? We doing the same amount of marches that Martin Luther and them did, right? And so for me, it's like, man, what's gonna change, right? And for me, it's like, man, my way of contributing to our class, our generation, our society is through information, right? Financial literacy. So for me, I truly believe that financial literacy and exposure to knowledge is gonna be the equalizer, right? That could actually help put us on the same path of trying to truly get to the bag, right? And I think not a lot of people focus on that, right? Like a lot of people are like, yo, we want equal rights. We want equal rights. True, we want that, right? We want some form of, making, just do with what happened in the past. But I'm a person that say you can only control what you can control, right? I ain't got the ability to go on, Capitol Hill. I ain't no person that's gonna be, Biden, give us this type of plan or what you got what's your black agenda, right? I hear that. My agenda is like, man, let me control what we can control. And so Black Wealth Matters to me means let's empower our people through financial literacy. At the end of the day, it's really all about controlling what you can control. So I really built Black Wealth Matters as a movement, but on a financial literacy standpoint, right? Like when you look at the wealth gap in this country, right? $170,000 median net worth for a white family versus $17,000 of that of a black family. It's troubling. I can't sleep at night, right? Because it's our people that's suffering because of that, right? But the worst part that really make me not sleep at night is the fact that it's projected that by 2053, the black median net worth is gonna be 0. So for me, it's like, bro, why is that, right? Is it because we're taking out so much debt? Is it because we don't understand the actual levels of debt that we're actually taking out, right? Is it also because we don't know how to invest? Is it because we don't know our credit? Right? It's so many factors of that. Now, obviously, we truly know, right? It's through slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, subprime mortgages. We know all that stuff, right? But once again, what can we control? So for me, Black Wealth Matters is a movement of exposing and educating our people because I believe that's the equalizer to help putting us on a better foot, as well as making sure by 2050 we ain't got no damn net worth of 0.
Right. I mean, when you say that scares me because, that's taking steps backwards, right? Yeah. So, we gotta, one is people understand what we're spending on, what we're doing, but then also, by educating ourselves, how we can put money to work for us. Because like you said, we're starting at the back of the bus, literally.
Back of the back.
Right? Like
we hanging on.
Yeah.
Hopefully they ain't able to sit on the back of the bus. We holding on the back.
Right. And holding on for dear survival. So it's tough because I know there's times where people listen to these conversations and they think, well, I'm not going to listen to it because I'm just trying to keep the lights on this week. I'm just trying to keep food on the table tonight, right? We talking about emergency fund. I'm in the middle of an emergency right now, right? What I would challenge those people to do, I always challenge, is like, you have to prepare for your breakthrough, right? Like when NFL players, they say on average, 78% of us go broke within 2 to 3 years of retirement. The problem is when we get to the league, when we get our money, any lottery winner, you are handed the keys to a fast car and no one's ever taught you how to drive. Imagine being 16 years old, you've never seen a road, you've never seen a street, you've never seen a red light, a stop sign, and somebody says, hey man, you just made it. Here's a car. Go ahead, Ross. Imagine you now you're getting on the highway, right? Like, yeah, you don't even know how to turn it on. Now you better hope it's push to start. And now you on the highway, right? Because now they didn't just give you some bullshit car. They gave you the go ahead and take the Bentley, right? Like, go ahead and take this big bag.
Believe it.
And now, how bad is that going to go? Like, we learn through making mistakes. So for those people who are like, I'm not in this place now to be able to receive this information, no, tap in now. Because when you do get your breakthrough and when you do get something that can help you start change, tax return, stimulus check, whatever it may be, now you are prepared to go ahead and handle that properly, as opposed to continue to learn through mistakes.
Exactly.
Through hard knocks.
Bro, the fact that you said that tax return or that stimulus, bro, I got a lot of homies right now. that's hitting these PPP loans.
Bruh.
I love it for them, right? It's like it's the ghetto blessing, the ghetto form of reparations, probably, right?
Yep.
But if you getting your $20,000, PPP loan, you don't got no business, you just found a way to finesse the system. This don't mean go to Nordstrom's or Neiman's, right? This is a ghetto blessing for you. You just got 20 racks in your lap. Now the idea is, what are you doing with it, right? Like at the end of the day, that's what this is about. Black Wealth Matters is because no matter if you are an athlete making millions or you in the hood and you making no money, the reality is if you can't manage $1,000, you can't manage $1 million. Right. That's the same mindset. And so, Black Wealth Matters is all about helping educate our community on how to, one, know how to get the bag, but two, how to keep the bag, right? A lot of people, work very hard to get the money, but don't know what to do with it. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that's, that falls on us, right? Yeah. You do it with Life 101. You do it, from a philanthropic standpoint as well. It's like, how we make sure our community good, right? Because we know our kids good, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out baby Rossi. Yep. Shout out little Bryce. Hey, they straight for life. Yep. But that don't change the fact that somebody else that look like us or somebody else kid don't necessarily have that, bro. One of the biggest things that I tell people that if I'm dead and gone, the mark that I want to leave on this earth is that have inner city kids talking about stocks the same way they talk about athletes, right? A little kid can say, oh, I love Coke, I love the Patriots because of XYZ, or I love LeBron James, or here's my favorite. Oh, LeBron James is better than Kevin Durant because of XYZ. I want a little shorty in the hood to say, man, I like Apple over Microsoft because of XYZ. Yep. They had that same conversation, bro, on my mama, on my baby. Life way different for us, bro.
Crazy. It's crazy. And the ripple effect on that is generational, right? So when we talk about hustler's ambition, we talk about mindset. And, what first and foremost, we all have to examine ourselves and figure out and be real with ourselves. Like, can I be better? Can I be stronger here? Can I create, be more disciplined in my approach? And we're not just talking about money and investing. We're talking about life in general. This is first and foremost. It's the first step. Then we can apply some of that to money, right? Coming up, let's figure out what made you different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you, right? Mm-hmm. I know we can do business together. You can't do business with everybody because not everybody's willing to sacrifice the way you're willing to, right? But like, what makes you what made you different as a youngster growing up to say, hey, I'm gonna get good grades. I'm gonna focus on these things. I'm gonna go to Penn. I'm gonna go to Wharton. I'm gonna go to Morgan Stanley. I'm gonna go to a hedge fund. I'm gonna go own my own shit. What made you different?
One thing I always tell people is the exposure, right? That's something that I also look at as an equalizer, right? Like, some white kids grow up and they're exposed to their parents talking about good credit or investing, right? And I think the one thing that exposed me early on was like all my family, for the most part, were like entrepreneurs, right? My mom, she'll work a job, but she'll simultaneously be hustling on the side, right? She used to fly to New York, grab, them little knockoff designer bags and be selling them off in Chicago, right? My granddaddy owned a lot of businesses, right? My dad also, lived in countless different countries hustling, right? And so for me, I started hustling at 3rd grade, bro. My mama, we went to the candy store. I went in there, $100, grabbed all type of candy. I'm selling candy, and the markup on candy is crazy, right? $100, I'm flipping that at least 300% returns, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm selling it on the school bus and then in school. Yep. Then one of these hating ass teachers, it's like, if you're not doing this for a fundraiser, is this for a fundraiser? Yeah, shorty, I'm from the hood. What you talking about? This the United Negro Me Fund, you hear me? But she was hating. But I say that to say, like, I started hustling at an early age. And, hustling, everybody be like, oh, you selling drugs? Nah, hustling is literally hustler's ambition, bro. It's your mindset. And so at an early age, I started out hustling. And at that moment, I started understanding business, right? You start understanding profit, revenue, right? Revenue versus expenses to get that profit. And I think that carried me all the way through, right? High school, like I say, right? I'm hustling there, right? I'm, selling CDs. We was burning CDs, right? I'm throwing parties. I had a clothing line, right? And that led me into
in high school.
Yeah, bro. Hustler's ambition, dog.
That man had a clothing line in high school.
Bro, the feeling of having $1,000 in my pocket was amazing. Yeah. Right? I didn't know about investing back then. Right? No telling what that $1,000 would be today. right? But the idea of, knowing how to make money was something that always made me feel good, right? And I think that, it start with your household, right? Because all the kids look up to the people that they see every day, right? Before we turn on the news or BT, before we turn on the radio, we was watching our parents, right? And so the people around us, if my peoples was hustling, it helped me understand it better. And for me, watching my entire family do it, it helped me do it a lot easier.
Love it, man. Love it. And I think that teacher told you no. Teacher told you this isn't for you, but you found a way, right? I think that that's the thing. Like a lot of us, we meet resistance, and it's like, it's not for me. It's not easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What I've learned is managing your money, even if you're not just actively day trading and all of that type of stuff, like managing your money is a job, bro. Like you got to put work into this stuff, right? Like, I got to start this LLC, pay a consultant fee, wire transfer over here, pull this over here, sign this paperwork, go to the bank, set this up. It is a job.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's what wealthy people do, right? Like this is where you take the money that you've worked hard for and figure out a way to grow it and keep it through tax strategy and things like that. So again, Black wealth matters. Wealth matters. We have to understand how important it is to make sure the money we work hard for, the money you was in the high school selling clothes for, right? Like, how do we keep that shit?
Man, you said something on the first episode that stuck with me, right? One of the greatest lies told, right, is put your money in the bank. Another lie that's been told, right, in our community is, you got to work hard for money, and that's how you get success, right? Just work hard to make the money.
No days off.
You know what I'm saying? But they never tell us, once you get the money, your money can work even harder for you while you sleep, right? And so in our community, it's all about teaching ourselves to not only work hard for money, but to have your money working harder for you. Yeah. And so that's what the Black Wealth Movement is about. It's like, all right, let me have Maconomics, right? Let you have Life 101. But the platform is, look, we got to educate our community because there's so many things that wasn't taught to us, but now we have the ability to teach it for ourselves, right? Yeah. We have that ability now that we are legally allowed to read, right? Right. Now, you know what I mean? We can use Google University, YouTube University. Them are the two schools, right? We went to Ivy League. Yep. That's cool. Number one Ivy League school in the world is Google and YouTube University, dog. 1 and 2. You can learn anything, dog. I can go figure out how to build a car in 1 hour on my soul. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's like, bro, how can we make the right content and put it in front of our people in a way that they're going to digest it and then make their sales better, make their cousins and their kids better. Yeah. And that's our job. You know what I mean?
So you spoke on, well, one, I'm going to push back on you a little bit. Google University and YouTube University, they rank a little bit behind Maconomics and Life 101.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Seems low.
You see the cheese.
You said making money while you sleep, not working hard for your money. How do you do that?
Man.
Personally, like now, how are you doing that?
So one thing I want to tell people out the gate, I tell people the easiest way to make more money first out the gate is to spend less. Not a lot of people understand that. It's a hard concept. I gotta have all these different subscriptions. I gotta go ball out. I gotta buy a bottle at the club every month. I gotta go shopping in designer every month. Bro, I was doing a Maconomics, and the Nielsen stats lets us know that we spend the most money.
Yeah.
We have $1.4 trillion buying power, but only 2 cents on the dollar is spent with our people, with our community, right? And so that's one thing, right? So helping people, one, understand spending less money, but when you do spend that money, spend it with somebody that look like you. But secondly, how you make money in your sleep? It's through investing, right? And people don't understand that, and I'm so happy that there's a new resurgence of people, through Corona, everybody opened up a Robinhood or E-Trade. Everybody started investing, but everybody don't know how to invest. But the real way of making money in your sleep are owning great assets. And on top of that, being disciplined enough to invest monthly, right? That's how the true wealth is generated in our society, right? Is buying great assets that are going to appreciate over time and then you got compounding interest. Y'all remember the song, racks on racks on racks, got racks on racks on racks. Well, that's what compounding interest is. When you make some interest, that money that you made from the interest is now reinvested. And so you're just making literally racks on racks on racks, and that's really how you're making money in your sleep.
Yeah, one of the best depictions of that, at a certain point in time, depending on how you invest and how much money you're putting into your portfolio, you can get to a point where you have more money in returns just being reinvested and continuing to grow on a compounding basis than the money that you actually invested, right?
Facts.
And that's the goal, right? Where you look at your account and you're like, dang, how the hell did I get all that? Oh, this is just, my money made some money and then made some money. It's that would you rather have $1 every day or a penny double in every single day?
And then what
right?
is it, 30 days, it's over a meal.
Exactly.
Moms don't understand that. Yeah. Money doubling every day, you go on berserk.
Yeah, and I think that's touching on that point right there, like we have to do a much better job of not just reading the fine print, but really taking the time to understand what someone is selling, right? Like nobody's ever giving you want $1 today or a penny doubled over every single day for 30 days, right? $1,
exactly.
right? But we got to sit down. Give me 1 second. Hold that thought. Let me break it down and make sure, because this sounds a little off, but let me break that down. I'll take the penny. Well, you want the penny? Why would you want the penny, right? So we got to do a better job of just making sure that we fully understand things prior to getting in them. But at a certain point, like, you can't learn on the sideline.
Facts.
Right? I can't learn to be a good linebacker
watching film all day.
Exactly.
You got to get out there. You got to get in the field.
I'll be just as good as Stephen A. Smith. I'm sitting there watching it, right? Like, no.
Maybe a better hairline, though.
Look, yeah, I'm a little strong right now, getting there. But so let's bring that back, right? Like, so compounding interest is major, right? You said making money while you sleep. I want to kind of pull back a little bit. So you worked with Morgan Stanley for some time, right? Like, what is that like? What is something that you took from there? Because a lot of us are never ever going to see inside of a building like Morgan Stanley. What is something that you took from that experience that you feel like we all can apply to our lives?
Hustler's ambition. Songs say it all, right? Like, when I worked at Morgan Stanley, I was extremely rough around the edges, right? Like, I had the ability, the blessing, I'll call it, right? I was lucky enough to work at Morgan Stanley when I was 19 years old, right? I had an internship, right? My freshman summer, right? So when all my homies went back, to Chicago and we talked about, this and that, everybody chilling, throwing parties, I was in New York, right? And so for me, the fact that I was so rough around the edges, it really forced me to be in a different environment and have to adapt to my surroundings. Because when I ended up working full-time, right, after I graduated college, I was the first black guy that worked full-time on that desk.
Wow.
And it's 2012.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't I ain't no old head. You know what I'm saying? This is real. You know what I mean? So to be a first black guy to work on a desk, it's like, man, I got to find a way to really be a chameleon, right? Like, we're talking, like, I worked on one of the most highly coveted desks, right? That being the high yield sales and trading desk, right? High yield is junk bonds, right? Distressed, right? These are, companies that are borrowing money from institutions, right? So when we borrow money, we go to a bank. Yep. When the institution borrow money, they got to go to Wall Street. Let me borrow 50, let me borrow $200 million. Let me borrow $1 billion, right? They're doing that on Wall Street. And so for me, the things that I really learned was, one, figuring out how to be a chameleon and adapt to my surroundings, because I'm on the phone talking to some of the biggest hedge funds, some of the biggest pension funds and insurance funds. And for me, I had to learn how to talk different. I had to walk different, right? And so for me, it was saying, knowing that I'm supposed to be there, but then you get that self-doubt, like, man, I don't, and it's like, man, I need to take everything out of this job. So for me, one of the biggest things was like, let me milk them before they milk me. Because they're gonna work the fuck out you.
Hey, say it louder for the people in the back, bro.
You gotta milk them before they milk you. right? Because at the end of the day, they liked me for them hours that I was there, right? I grabbed them coffee in the morning, lunch runs, but they gonna like you. But next year somebody else wants your spot. Same way in the league, right? Next year somebody else wants your spot. So for me, it's like, man, let me milk them for more than they gonna ever milk me. So let me learn, right? There was some stuff that wasn't sexy. I used to be there from 6:30 to 6:30, 12-hour days, and it was like, man, I'm trying to go party, right? But hindsight, right? It's like, man, that was the best experiences because I was really in the field, right? I was really learning, you know, a transferable skill set that I now apply to this day. I know how to value a company like this. I can look like, oh, that's a bullshit company, right? Oh, Nikola, everybody buying it. What's $100? One of my little shorties said, bro, I'm buying Nikola. I'm not touching that. You feel me? Oh, I'm buying GameStop. Okay, I ain't f***ing with that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, you know, I know how to value a company, but like the hustler's ambition is like, no matter what, where I'm at, bro, you could put me on any Martin Luther Boulevard. I could be in DC, I could be in Houston, I'm a blend in, or you could put me in any boardroom with all white guys that live in Connecticut. I'm a blend in, I'm a figure a way, and that's what it's about, right? Trying to find a way to make money in every circle and then taking the skill set and applying it to your life and all other avenues.
Yeah, so it's major what you just touched on, man. So because a lot of people, I ain't getting coffee for nobody. What you talking about? I'm grabbing lunch for somebody. I ain't doing that. How much, if you don't mind me asking, you remember how much they were paying you back then, your freshman year?
Freshman year, $10,000 signing bonus, a $70,000 salary, and then you get, you know, somewhere 30 to 50K bonus, right? The next thing. So, you know, I was a six-figure, but really from the South Side. You know what I'm saying? Really ain't know nothing. And then you don't, but then you really don't know nothing. You living in New York, like, man, it's expensive as hell. Every weekend, you know what I mean? Them cab rides, $30 going, $30 coming. That wasn't even no Uber then. It's $30 cab ride. So you looking like, man, that money ain't stretching the way you need it to, right? And so, you know, but literally 6 figures, right, was awesome, right? And
well, I'm talking about even as a freshman in college.
Oh, my freshman in college, it was prorated. So I was based off a $70,000 salary.
30,
yeah, so over them 3 months, you know, I made, you know, 20 something, 30. Yeah, I don't know the hourly, but I definitely, you know, made decent money. But then again, you know, we paying big rent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was good money though, right? And for me, if I would have known what I knew now, no telling what I would have done with that money differently, right? But for me, it's like, I got student loans at some point. I gotta, you know what I mean? Oh, my mom and daddy ain't sending me money while I'm at school. I need this money while I'm at school. You know what I'm saying? So the idea, the hustler's ambition, you always gonna find a way to hustle. And then it's like hustling smarter. That's the biggest thing, right? Hustler's ambition, the song that really resonated with me is like hustle smarter, right? We work hard, but you gotta work smarter too.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of people who I know who would not be willing to put in the work that I put in to create this life. Like they look and think, oh, you just play football. Oh, this dude in real estate, well, he's only in real estate because he plays football. He can cut the check. They don't see your boy in Home Depot asking the carpet people, why does this cost this? How much? Why is this bigger? Why is this less? Oh, going to the nail people, how much do these nails cost? So if I needed to do a house, how much does this cost? Going to the door people, windows, all of that stuff, putting in hours after training, literally down in Florida, trying to understand so nobody could cheat me out of my money, right? Like people see the iceberg, they see Ross Mack right now, but they don't see the work ethic and the humbleness, right? Remove the ego from it. Okay, you need me to get your coffee, I got you, but guess what? You're gonna make sure you teach me this. Right? And then now eventually I'll be able to take your job if I need to, right? And so one of my favorite verses actually probably helped change my career in the NFL. J. Cole.
What song?
SeaWorld. He said, because either you play the game or watch the game play you and be that broke motherfucker talking about I stayed true.
Facts.
A lot of people see me, I'm cool, calm, collected. But the reason why I'm good at football is because that's where I take all my anger, frustration, violence out, right? I do a lot of boxing in the off season and stuff like that, right? Like, you know,
a little boxing.
So I just, look, if you blink, you couldn't see it.
We've been seeing, you know, pro athletes not do too well in the boxing ring, man. So you better stay in your lane, dog.
Right? But it's you know that that line changed my career because, you know, it helped me understand that, you know, either you play the game or watch the game play you and be that broke motherfucker talking about I stayed true. And we all know those people who like, man, I ain't doing that. Man, I deserve this. Yeah. Man, I do this. But if you're not willing to put the work in, if you're not willing to get out of your comfort zone so that you can milk a situation more than it's milking you, bro, then you're going to be the same motherfucker.
Saying I stayed true. Bro, it's like the person that say I'm staying true, right, they don't understand that you ain't just doing this for you. Yeah. You got to do this for the next generation, right? I'm willing to tap dance only so that my kids never have to tap dance. I'm willing to get it out the mud and be in the mud, right? Mine say they got it out the mud. Some of them went in the mud. I'm willing to be in the mud so my kids ain't got to be in the mud and they kids don't got to be in the mud. That's what the mindset is, right? The hustler's ambition ain't thinking about how to make $1 for tomorrow. It's how do I make this money so it lasts for generations? And that's the wildest part. Like the idea is to make sure you get the baton and you pass it to the next generation at a further distance than where you received it. And that's how, you know, the world keeps spinning for our kids, right? That's how we make sure the wealth gap starts getting a little tighter, right? Because the way it's looking, bro, it ain't looking good for us.
Right.
It's really not, right? And that's why we got these platforms like Money Music Culture or Maconomics or Life 101, because it's like, bro, these conversations need to be heard, right? And when I was a shorty, bro, the type of conversations I was hearing was, let me listen to Project Pat. You know what I'm saying? Let me hear what Iverson talking about. Practice? Right. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, when it comes to it, it's like, you said something that's like overnight success took years and years of doing, right? That grit is real, right? So when you're in the off season and you teaching, or you're in the off season with a camp of 500 kids, or you're in the off season, you at Lowe's, Home Depot, you trying to figure out how to make money in my sleep. You're on your real estate grind. Like the idea of the hustle ambition is not for tomorrow or today. It's about a year from now. It's 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And that's the realest shit I ever wrote.
Amen. Amen, brother. So my dog, you went into Morgan Stanley, making 6 figures, living in New York. You decided to come back home to Chicago. What happened?
Amazing, man. I had the opportunity to take a better leap and work at a hedge fund, right? And
explain the difference. Explain what a hedge fund is for those.
So a hedge fund, they manage money, right? They manage a lot of money, right? You got sovereign wealth. You know, imagine the Saudi Arabia got, $500 million that they want to invest in this particular hedge fund, right? You got the MLB players fund or the pension fund or whatever you get. So what hedge funds do is they literally take a pool of capital from all other various investors, and then they take that money and invest it, right? With the expectation of giving those investors a much better return than they would potentially get, putting it in a CD or just a normal bank account, right? Or just a normal stock market. And so the idea of a hedge fund is they have the ability to go both long and short, right? So hedge funds are similar to mutual funds in a sense where, they're taking other people's money and then they're going to invest it for them. And they get paid a little bit for doing that, but they're trying to bring back a very solid return for their investors.
Yeah, and so long and short. Long meaning you are taking the buy side, the buy position. This stock is going to go up. Short being you think this stock is going to go down. You make money when the stock goes down. Yep. And then hopefully if their bets are right, they're making that whole difference in between. But also they're kind of hedged in case the whole market goes down or the whole market is completely going up. So the reason why I asked you that question like that, and it was kind of like it might have felt like it was somewhat offensive in the way I asked it about what happened, right? It is because you went and you seek more. Yeah. You seek the better opportunity, right? A lot of people like, well, you got it. You made it. Yeah. You're from South Side of Chicago. You're Morgan Stanley. You're in New York, the Big Apple. Yeah. You're making 6 figures. Done. Ambition should be done right there. Now it's time to clock in and go ahead and enjoy the life. Ross will be at Morgan Stanley for another 50 years. retire and be done. So what happened that made you say, nah, I got more to do? Because now it's not even just the hedge fund, right? Like owner, entrepreneur. What said, nah, I got more to do?
When you working in corporate America, you at the mercy of your perception, right? When it's time to get paid bonus season, you gotta hope you smiled enough, right? You gotta hope. You know what I'm saying? You see that smell? Colgate. Go get that boy.
Can we get the ding?
Oh my soul.
Yeah.
You gotta hope that you smiled and tap danced enough so that they pay you you're just, right? You're never truly paid enough, right? No athlete feel as though they paid enough, right? I'm sure Patrick Mahomes like, nah, bro, I need 700. Right. What are you talking about, right? And so when you're in the corporate America, you want to ask yourself, how can I control my own income? I don't want to have to smile from somebody. So for me, it was like, all right, let me go to another spot where my earning potential is going to be higher, but also let me continue to always have that hustler's ambition to try to make other various forms of, revenue, right? Like when I was working at Morgan Stanley at 22, one of our mutual friends, me and Jay, we was throwing parties every other weekend.
Drill.
Right? Throwing the drills, the biggest event company in the nation. It's the drill. You know what I mean? We're throwing parties, we're traveling, we're throwing them in Philly, LA, DC, Miami, Austin, you know what I'm saying? Chicago, yacht drills. You know what I mean? So we like, bro, we making good money, but we need more.
Yep.
Right? And what we found out is that once you have that owner's mentality, you can't be tamed.
Yeah.
Right? In the corporate world, we would go back to the job. Hey, how was your weekend? Oh, a white person's asked you that. Oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, just was hanging with friends. Mm-hmm. Right? You change your entire dialect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm from the South Side, bro. I'm talking a different level of slang, right? Yeah. And so when I tell you, bro, you know what I'm saying, bro? When I tell you I was so rough around the edges, bro, I mean it. Like I'm answering the phone. So I'm on the phone making multi-million-dollar trades and still talking like I'm on the South Side, right? And so that mindset, bro, was like, yo, let me find some people that look like me. Let me learn how to master this lane while still having the concept of brain to say, yo, I want something bigger and better, right? But like, let me master this lane. Let me learn how to speak this language. Let me learn how to talk this language. And I'm gonna master this, and I'm gonna go to the other thing, right? Because I was always an entrepreneur ever since I was in 3rd grade, right? So throwing parties, that's one thing. And so when I moved back to Chicago, it's like, what's the next thing, right? You know what I mean? What's the next thing? I'm working there, but now I'm thinking, okay, I want to continue throwing parties because that's that good money, that tax-free money. Uncle Sam, I'm sorry, but you get that tax-free money a different hit. You know what I'm saying? Long as you ain't getting no money over 10K each time. You know what I'm saying? Because they try to hit you when you're getting it on Eventbrite and all that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we like cash at the door. All promoters like that better. Yeah. But when I'm sitting in Chicago, it's like, okay, I want to continue to throw parties. I'm making music. I'm on the radio. I'm going to work. I'm F it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm finna open up a restaurant too, right? I'm a promoter now. I can open up a restaurant/club, right? But the idea is always that mindset of like, what's more, right? What could I be doing better to help provide for my family, right? My wife, my kinfolk, the people that's coming behind me who look up to me. And then the next thing was like, man, let me better help educate our community. Because the best thing about being in Chicago was that you get back in touch with the friends you lost touch with. And you really realize how being in the right place at the right time really helps bolster your life and put you on a better path. Yeah. Because I didn't find a love for investing. It wasn't working on Wall Street, because the idea of working on Wall Street is you got to get all your trades pre-approved. You got to hold the stock for 30 to 60 days. So my love for investing didn't happen there, right? Because it's like, oh, I'm doing it, but when it comes to your personal account, shit, they think you got insider information, so you can't do it. My love for investing came when I was a freshman in a Wharton class, an econ class, and I'm sitting next to this Asian kid who has a portfolio who's day trading in the middle of class, bro. I'm sitting next to him. I'm gonna remember his name, Ed, bro. What the hell you doing, dog? Motherfucker had $25,000 in his account. He a sophomore. He's, oh yeah, my dad gave me this for my graduation. My dad gave it to me for my graduation. What? What you talking about, dog? 25 racks to play around with? Right. But mind you, it ain't playing around. He's making bread. He knows what he's doing. So that mindset was like, man, my level of exposure is way different than a homie that went to a community college or stayed in state and went to college, right? They ain't sitting next to nobody with $25,000 day trading, right? The people we went to school with, they daddies ran the world. Yep. You know what I'm saying? They was really 1% out here. So for me, when I moved back to Chicago, I realized I wasn't doing enough, right? I did the community service here and there, but I wasn't doing enough to touch the people in the way that I wanted to touch them. Yeah. Right? When you work for a corporation, oh yeah, just we writing a little check. Go do a little corporate, community service. All the
clean up the streets.
Yeah, the first and the second years, go build this garden or do some shit like that, right? But the reality is, when I got back to Chicago, I really felt my community, and I'm like, bro, I gotta better touch them, right? I'm in the clubs, I'm seeing all the homies I went to school with, seeing where they at, seeing the homies that done got shot, seeing the ones that just getting out, seeing the ones that still at home, right? And so for me, it's like, bro, how can I better, touch my community? And one of my homies like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. It was this podcast with T.I. and Young Thug. And Young Thug was telling T.I. like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. He say, bro, Jay-Z gonna have to show me how you made a bill. That stuck with me, like, bro, if you got a bill, you gotta show me how you made that. Yep. That stuck with me because my homie like, bro, you gotta show me how you making money. Right? He got a cleaning business. I'm like, bro, let me help you scale your business, right? My way of thinking gonna be a little different, right? Because I've been hustling since I was, third grade. And so for me, I'm like, bro, how don't you go on Airbnb? Send out a message to all the Airbnb owners every day. This is how you go to this listing, right? Look at this entire radius and message every Airbnb person there. And then say, hey, I have a cleaning service. I'll give you 50% off on your first one. I just want to show you what we can do, and I can do all of your listings. Right? That way of thinking. People ain't thinking like that, right? Some of the people that got cleaning businesses, you trying to figure out how to scale it. You got a cold call. I worked some spot where I had to cold call, where I was selling mutual funds at one point. You got a cold call, right? So for me, it's like, bro, how can we better educate on a more macro level, right? Doing community service here, cool, you touch a couple kids' lives, but then it was like, how can I talk to everybody at once, right? People I never met, right? And that's when I started making actual Maconomic videos, right? It started out with just making 1-minute videos on Instagram, right? Oh, what is a stock? What is a bond, right? Why should you be investing? How to invest, right? And it was at that moment that I realized, yo, the community need this. We really need this, right? I started doing that in like 2018 or something, right? And it was at that moment, I'm like, bro, this is what my calling is, to be a person that had traveled both worlds, right? Literally from South Side of Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Used to have to walk around with a box cutter, right? This folk Mars really had guns like that in Chicago. Mars used to fight. I miss those days, right? That idea is like being able to be in a boardroom with billion-dollar people, like people who are actually worth $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Not like, oh, he hood rich. Like, nah. So knowing drug dealers and knowing CEOs of massive companies, right? Hedge funds and, and so forth. So for me, it's like, how do I bring both those worlds together and educate our community? Because black wealth matters to me at the end of the day, and that's every day. So for me, started Maconomics, you know what I'm saying, and ended up having the dopest ability to start getting looks from like Revolt TV, right? And ever since then, had that organic love to say, yo, we love what you're doing. Let's better educate our entire community.
Facts. Combining the business world with the world we grew up in, with who we are today, finding a way to monetize it, finding a way to make your hustle and your passion something that can feed you, right?
Without a doubt.
But most importantly, I think, as you said, like, you got that hustler's ambition. You made sure that you got your ego out of the way so that you can maximize your opportunity here on this earth. So I applaud you, brother. You're my dog.
You already know.
You just finished tuning into another episode of Money Music Culture. It's your boy, Professor Cope.
It's your boy, Ross Mack.
And I hope you learn that it's all about that hustler's ambition. Till next time, Money Music Culture.
Yeah.